أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. All praise and glory to Allah and peace and blessing of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. All the Anbiya, Shuhada and Salihin. We've come to our first Taraweeh. We finished 2 paras tonight. Like I said, we are the slowest. Alhamdulillah. So tonight we've done Surah Hajj. But because we're behind, we'll start from Surah Anbiya, Surah 21. And we're trying to catch up, but it's been a little bit difficult. So anyway, yesterday we ended off on, I think, the Big Bang Theory, which Allah had mentioned in the Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أولم يرى الذين كفروا أن السماوات والأرض كانتا رتقا ففتقناهما. Do the unbelievers not see that the heavens and the earth were one and we clove them asunder? That's the Big Bang. Okay? And then Allah talks about the mountains and the water and things like that. So tonight we carry on. We'll start off from verse 35. Like I said yesterday, when a guy gets rich or he he does very well for himself, I'm of the opinion that we should go and visit him and read Nariya Khatam for him. Okay? We must go and make some dua for him. Pray that Allah make it easy for him. When he gets rich, when he gets a better job, when he gets a nice car. And I'm going to explain to you why. Allah says in verse 35, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. Every soul shall taste death. وَنَبْلُوكُمْ Bala. You heard of the word bala? It's a trial. وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ. We will test you by shar, difficulties or evil, وَالْخَيْرِ and goodness. Fitna. As if fitna. وَإِلَيْنَا تُرْجَعُونَ and to us you will return. Allah tests us by both difficulty and ease. When a man gets sick, we already recognize poor man is going through a trial. You go to the brother, hey brother, how are you doing? It's only a trial. Allah is testing you, my brother. You have sabr, it will go away. But when a man gets rich or he is endowed with some blessings, then we say, okay, was sharp, man. You go to him, you say, nah, I hit a move. No, I met this guy at the right time, man. I bought this share at the right time. When he goes into difficulty, man realizes the test. When he gets the blessing, man can't see the test. That is why I'm saying we must recognize Bisharri wal Khairi, fitna. And the end of Surah Taha, it said that don't look at those who have more than you, those of the beauty of this world. Why? Whenever we test them by that wealth. Your wealth is a test. On the day of judgment, you are accountable for your deeds, and how you spend your money is part of the deeds. The more you have, the more you are accountable for. Nothing wrong with being rich. Nothing wrong. It's good to work hard. But be simple and humble and spend a lot in charity. But be humble. It's a test from Allah. And Allah gives somebody knowledge, it's a test. How is he going to use it? And so Allah gives somebody wealth, it's a test. How he's going to use it. So go to the guy who's done wealth and say, I am your answer to your test. Say it. Okay. Verse 37. Man is a creator of haste. خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ عَجَلٍ. Allah said last night we read, فَلَا تَعْجَلْ بِالْقُرْآنِ. Don't hasten with the Quran. Ajal means you are rushing. Don't rush with the Quran. Take it easy. Learn as much as you can. Don't rush. But man himself, his nature, خُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ مِنْ عَجَلٍ. Man is created of haste. So, and why I mention this is that most of us, I think maybe now, maybe I can handle myself, maybe I'm over 45 now, I can handle myself a bit. Previously I was much more of a rush guy, doing things very erratically, looking at the world and trying to go too fast, trying to swallow too much. And I think as you get older, maybe you realize that you can't conquer the world, but step by step you can get somewhere. We sometimes overdo it in our haste, in our rush. We got to pace ourselves. Sabr is also about pacing yourself. Sabr is a consistency. Verse 47. Allah says, وَنَدَعُ الْمَوَازِينَ الْقِسْطِ. And we shall set up balances of justice on the day of resurrection. So not a soul will be dealt with unjustly in anything. And if there be a weight of a mustard seed, we will bring it forth. And sufficient are we as reckoners. It's important to understand that the day of judgment, A lot of people ask about the intercession of the Prophet. People could discuss it for ages. Why get into that? There will be the scales of justice. فَمَنْ ثَقُلَتْ مَوَازِينُهُ, he whose scale is heavy, he'll be successful. Whose scale is light will be in trouble. Heavy and light, your deeds will. Allah says, وَإِنْ كَانَ مِثْقَالَ حَبَّةٍ, if they are mustard seed, a mustard seed of what? Of your spending, a mustard seed of your words, a mustard seed of your actions. Allah is saying nothing will be left out. It will be brought to account. Hisab. But forget why we're discussing intercession. Or why I'm just mentioning this. It's something that Muslims have got too used to, We are accountable for our deeds. You go speak to the Christians, tell you, as long as you got the love for Jesus, sharp. We don't believe that. We believe you will be accountable. You will pay for every deed. Unless illa man taba wa amana wa amilas. You can commit sins. But as long as you are repenting, you realize it. We are weak. We are created of ajal. Okay, so there will be the scales of justice will be set up perfectly. Not an atom's weight of action, activity, thought that won't be brought to account. Verse 48 to 50. And surely we gave Musa and Harun. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا Musa wa Harun. What did Allah give Musa and Harun? Allah gave them the Old Testament, okay, the Torah. And Allah doesn't say I gave Musa and Harun the Torah here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا Musa wa Harun al-Furqan. Allah gave the Torah is al-Furqan wa diya'an, and is a light wa dhikran, and is a reminder lil muttaqin. Allah calls the Torah three things. Furqan, diya, which is light, and a reminder. The same names used for the Quran. The Torah was an amazing book that lasted an amazing time. Until today, if you go to the Old Testament, you find gems. It is the word of Allah. We know that it's been tainted by shirk in certain instances. But it was the book of guidance. And it had been for centuries. And it was a diyan, it was a furqan, and it was, at the time, the furqan, the balance of understanding what life is about, was based in the Torah. And if you look at, and that is why maybe that always takes me long, because what really burns me up, I remember we went with the matrics for some excursion, one of these places in, just where the nature reserves are, not nature reserves, have activities, one of these farms. And there were these Jewish boys that came, a whole group of them, and they came for Bible study. They were studying their Bible. They had a whole excursion about studying the Bible. And when I speak to a lot of my Jehovah friends, I have a lot of friends who are Jehovah's Witnesses, who are actually renegade Christians. Remember that. They are actually renegade Christians. When they became renegade Christians, we weren't there to offer them the Quran. So they became Jehovah's Witnesses. They have Bible study at least twice a week. I was speaking to one of them the other day, and I said, you also go? He says, 1 week I go for the Bible study, and they are very Bible conscious. They are they've got a problem with Christianity because Christianity doesn't, or the conventional Christian doesn't go to the Bible. Like how we say we don't go to the Quran. The Jehovah say you must go to the actual Word of God. And this guy was saying, no, I'm going for the class on the 1 week, but the one day, the other day I'm not going for the Bible class, I'm going to take the Zulu class. Because they have a Zulu class also, and they have a Swana class. I said, wow. How serious they take the Bible. Whereas our kids should be learning English Quran without fail in every Islamic school. And we shouldn't be making hafizes, so many times. Just, I will make my son hafiz, I don't get a chance. Okay, why did you become a hafiz? Are you too old to become a hafiz? You're not too old to buy a new property. You check the guy when he's going to check a new property and there's an auction. You check the top, he's sharp. You can't become a hafiz. We can. Go learn a surah, go learn a few words. It's your love. We have love for Quran. And this is what needs to be done. I waste time, but again, critical points. I read an article why the Jews in America make up the top brass of the universities in America. And this guy wrote an article from his angle. And he says, he says in his article, he says, this young kids, Jewish kids, from a young age, they are studying the Bible, which is full of parables. Right? It's full of parables. And that creates, and they have to study it, and they have to answer questions, almost like poetry. You know, poetry is very creative, but very logical as well. And he says, this article, and he says that's one of the reasons why they excel in school. And we have the same opportunity. May Allah guide us to read our book, the Word of Allah, and our children get a chance to read it in their own language from young ages, and be taught it from a young age. And may we never think we're too old to conquer the world, inshallah. Verse 51 to 75 deals with the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And indeed we gave Ibrahim his guidance before, and we were well acquainted with him. When he said to his father and his people, "What are these images to which you are devoted?" They said, "We found our fathers worshipping them." He said, "Indeed you have been, you and your fathers, in manifest error." Sometimes you think Ibrahim alayhi salam was quite rude, you know, you say, don't speak back to your elders. Here he was telling them straight in their faces. He says, قَالَ لَقَدْ كُنْتُمْ, you all, أَنْتُمْ وَآبَاؤُكُمْ, you and your fathers and your grandfathers, فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. He was giving it to them. He's talking to his father and his people, he says, you and your fathers. Who is he gunning? Their grandfathers. He's telling them straight out. You know, I'm just showing the courage. And we must know who Ibrahim is, because Ibrahim has a family we die for. Okay, so he's fearless. He's recognized how they are in Dalalim Mubin, they're praying the stones which his father makes in his house. He can't handle it. They said, "Have you brought us the truth, or are you those who lie, Ibn? Are you joking around?" He said, "But your Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth." Now here's his answer. I like his answer. I love his answer. This is talking thousands of years ago. "But Rabbukum, your Lord is the Lord of the heavens and the earth, he who created them, and of that I am among the witnesses." Remember, in the previous surahs, he looks at the sun, he says, "You are God." Sun sets, you can't be God. He looks at the moon, he looks at the stars. Because people were worshipping stars, people were worshipping idols. And in all that, he realized, no, there is one that created all this. And he is the one we must turn to. That was his self-discovery. "And by Allah, I certainly have a plan against your idols. After that, after you turn your backs." This is amazing. Again, it's like a guy saying, "I'm going to blow up the Twin Towers." We've had people blow up it. Does anybody say it before they do it? No. This is Ibrahim, the young man Ibrahim. He says, "By Allah, Wallahi, I certainly have a plan for these idols." He's so confident, so brave to tell his parents, his father, and his children, "You are worshipping wrong, and watch what I do to your idols." So he reduced them into pieces, he broke them all, except the biggest one. They said, "Who has done this to our gods? إِنَّهُ لَمِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ." You know a zalim? He said, he must be a zalim. Because from their perspective, Ibrahim is a zalim. He's going against their religion. He's going against their people. He's going against their culture. They said, "Who has done this to our gods? Indeed, he is of the wrongdoers." They said, "We heard a young man mention of them who is called Ibrahim." They said, "Bring him here that we may speak to him." In verse 62, they asked him, قالوا أأنت فعلت هذا يا إبراهيم? Did you do this, O Ibrahim? They're talking so beautiful to him. He says, قال بل فعل. You see, this was done by? He says, بل فعل. You see, ask the big one. He left the big one. Now again, the great lesson. You know, sometimes we say Muslims are suffering in Gaza or here, and we have marches and we do things. But if you look at his power of his logic, he planned it. He was brave enough to get them steered to that plan. I'm going to do something to them. He's setting himself up already. And then his plan is so brilliant. He wants to show them how useless they are. And it works. قال بل فعله. He says it was done by فعله. You know, the Arabic is so beautiful. كبيرهم هذا. This is their biggest. فاسألوهم إن كانوا ينطقون. If they can speak. Now this is interesting the way Allah puts us. فَرَجَعُوا إِلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ. They turned unto themselves. فَقَالُوا إِنَّكُمْ أَنْتُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Indeed, you yourselves are the wrongdoers. They realized They realized that they were wrong. They realized that the idols were all broken, that the biggest idol couldn't help. فَرَجِعُوا إِلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ فَقَالُوا إِنَّكُمْ أَنْتُمُ الظَّالِمُونَ. They realized that they were the wrongdoers. But ثُمَّ نُكِسُوا عَلَىٰ رُؤُوسِهِمْ. Then they had, Allah, the way Allah, the ru'us, ra'as on his head. Allah says he turned on their heads. Meaning, they realized they're wrong, but they couldn't accept it. So they turned on their heads, meaning they went against all reason, all logic. The clear victory was then, and they couldn't accept the defeat. They said, you know he can't, the idols can't speak. Ma hawla'i yantikun. Then he says, do you worship things that can help you? Nothing, no harm you. He says, uffil lakum. It's like, it's like words that we would use, like, uffil lakum. What the hell's wrong with you, It's crazy. Go to hell, like, in a sense. Uffil lakum wa lima ta'buduna min dunillah. Afala ta'qilun. And this is when they say, okay, burn him. And verse 69, so beautiful. Allah says, قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْضًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. And Ibrahim was, alayhi salam, was put in the fire. And Allah told the fire, بَرْدًا, be cool and peace for Ibrahim. And they intended other plans for him. Allah saved him and Lut and sent them to بَارَكْنَا فِيهَا لِلْعَالَمِينَ. That's the area of Palestine, Jerusalem side, where he was taken. And we gave him Ishaq and Yaqub. Well, it's also, the Arabic might be so simple. وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ. We gave him Ishaq. وَيَعْقُوبَ نَافِلَةً. You know when you pray nafil salah? It's an extra. So Allah said, we gave him Ishaq, and we gave him an extra. What's his extra? Another prophet. Subhanallah wa bihamdih. وَكُلًّا جَعَلْنَا صَالِحِينَ وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً. This whole family was, there's a family of prophets, and Allah says, and we made them leaders. وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً. They are our imams. يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا, guiding by our command. وَأَوْحِينَا إِلَيْهِمْ. And what did Allah inspire them? What was the great thing that Allah inspired these group of prophets, the family of Ibrahim? Do you know what? فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ. Doing good things. Doing good things. And praying salah, establishing salah, and establishing zakah. وَكَانُوا لَنَا عَابِدِينَ. The deen of Islam is so beautiful. فِعْلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ. Do good things. Establish salah and give charity. And you'll be in the ranks of the highest in Jannah. Really. فِعَلَ الْخَيْرَاتِ. Then you are, we said when you say An'amta alayhim in Surah Fatiha, you're asking to be like Ishaq and Yaqub and to be like them.